Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Easy. What's going on, yo? So coming back at y'all again on a chilly Friday night. Yeah, yeah. It's about still in the negatives out here, but not a bad Friday night. Yeah, go again. You ever get that cold that just make you sleepy? That's how I am right now. But appreciate y'all checking me out as always, man. I had a lot of content to talk about with you guys. I'm still trying to get everything set up. I want to get things right. I might go live this weekend. I'm still looking for some paperwork for my little, I was gonna say real estate scam stuff that I was doing. Uh, yeah, yeah. Well, I wanted to talk to y'all about that. About scamming, because I think it happens a lot more nowadays than it, did back in the day. Hopefully, my whip outside ain't gonna get jacked, because it's been happening a lot lately. People have been stealing whips and stealing stuff inside of whips and outside of whips. They still doing it. They bust out here doing that. I can't stay and get a job, my dude. You know, but there are scams still going on out here. Actually, it's a lot more prevalent than it used to be. Surprisingly enough, people didn't used to fall for scams as much anymore as they do now. No, I apologize. I hate when I do that. But they can't help it. But their scams became much more prevalent uh, during like 2000 and I say 8 is when they started kind of hitting a little more. I want to say around then because I knew a few people that started getting scammed by that. The Nigerian scam that was out, that was big back then. Besides that, beforehand, the scams was mainly in like telemarketing or like Miss Cleo, call Miss Cleo, stuff like that, or scams and like card games and stuff like it wasn't big, but the Nigerian scam bought kind of a presence that we wasn't expecting. So, and I think it kind of went from there. So the Nigerian scam, if people don't remember, I'm so sorry, bro. I promise you, I'm not doing it on purpose. But the Nigerian scam was essentially there'll be somebody from Nigeria who would get your information. This is probably when the information, privacy information was starting to get leaked and stuff like that, and people were starting to use it for different things. But the Nigerian scam was a person would hit you up. It's almost like WhatsApp now, but it'd be probably like a Yahoo message or I don't even really know how they would get to you. I mean, we did have sites like the off-brand dating sites like Tagged or Black Planet or Magenta or something like that, where they could also hit you up. But people, just random people, would hit you up, and mainly for the guys, it was women out there claiming that they was in some type of financial struggle, financial trouble, and they would get you to send them money by telling you a fake story. And most people knew the story. And they made it on Oprah and stuff like that. But, like I said, I knew a few people that it happened to. A close homie of mine, it happened to him. And the scam, it didn't make sense to me, back then, especially back then, like you kind of read between the lines unless I felt like unless you was desperate. So I didn't even think my homie would go for it. But at the same time, the internet age, as far as like dating and stuff, was coming into kind of fruition and stuff like that. Like I said, you had the off brand sites offering, people to get to know each other online. It was a little bit easier than going out and trying to meet somebody and stuff like that, as long as they was in your city and stuff like that. But at the same time, you also could potentially meet somebody. Oh, I do apologize. And maybe they come to where you are. You know what I'm saying? I promise you it won't be like this the next drop. Oh yeah, my apologies, y'all. It's the 23rd, Friday 23rd, 365 drop. Should have said that at the beginning. A little off today. Like I said, it's cold and a mog out there. But yeah, so it happened to my homie, you know, and I couldn't. When he told me the story, it didn't make much sense. One of my homies, you know what I'm saying, before it got big, because it did get prevalent after a while. But the story just didn't make sense. But they really covered their bases. They really covered their bases, because when he was talking to me about it, I'm like, bro, so you saying her family passed, right? Family died in a tragic car accident. She was supposed to get her money from, when her parents passed, but she's having issues getting it. She's in Africa right now, and she has no way of accessing the funds. She needs to have the funds released, but she's having issues because he's out of state. Like they really did like they due diligence, because Mars wasn't so easily just give up money back then. Like you really had to prove a lot of the stuff. So I had asked him about it. I'm like, bro, that stuff ain't true, man. I'm thinking like it's not true at all. And of course it wasn't. But I'm like, it don't sound true to me. So, but to the point where he was telling me about it, he was like, no, it's legit, bro. I'm like, I haven't heard of nobody having that issue or anything like that from the States, because the girl was saying she was for Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, somewhere in Pennsylvania, and it happened somewhere else. And I'm like, bro, I don't remember hearing nothing about nothing like that or anything. Not that I was really, you know, Philly news or nothing like that, because I'm from Chicago, so it wouldn't make sense. But he showed me an article and everything like that, and he was like, I talked to the lawyer and everything, and I'm like, what? He's like, the lawyer needs, certain things from me that I can't get to him right now because I can't pay him. You know what I'm saying? But we had a lawyer on retainer for, the money that I'm supposed to get and stuff like that. So, of course, they had a lawyer, or they have a lawyer, but they had somebody kind of acting as a lawyer and stuff like that. And, like, legit, like, it ain't legit, but the scenario they set up was pretty legit. Like, they had a whole article about somebody dying and everything, like a family dying and everything. Like, they had it to where you really like they put some time into it. Nowadays people will just tell you stuff and expect money out of you. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes people just get what they do. But the one point where they just lost me, where I felt like it was a scam, and from there I just told them like, yo, bro, you can mess with it, but I wouldn't do it. Is after all that, right? After all that happened, he's talking to me, and I'm like, "So what you gonna do, bro?" Because I mean, I get that it sounds legit, but I probably won't send a person no money. But he was like, "Look, bro, if I send her a certain amount, I think it was like 1,500 or something like that. If I send her that one, he said when she get her money, she gonna give me 1 million or something like that. It was a high number. It might have not been 1 million, or it might have been 1 million. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was a very high number, at least more than six figures, right? And I told him, I say, bro, why does that make any sense to you? That right there would disqualify me from giving you anything, because why would I believe that? That don't make any sense to me. Yes, I understand if I give you money and you want to be grateful about it that you'll give me, some money when you get your money, when you get your inheritance or whatever have you. I feel that. But I also feel like it didn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you would probably look out for me and give me a car. I say you either give me like 25,000, like something like that, if you really had the money and stuff like that. Like, I can expect a number that doesn't sound immediately crazy. Because it's almost like you're getting something for nothing. And that's what made me think, yeah, this is a scam. This is a complete scam, bro. And I told myself, I'm like, yeah, ain't no way you gonna give me 1,500 and I'm gonna give you 1,000,000. I'm sorry, bro. I don't care what you do. I don't care how much you help me out. And back then, 1,500 was a lot of money. But I don't care. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry. It don't make no sense to me. I don't care how much I'm saving you from whatever you got going on. I'm not giving you that and you giving me that just automatic. That don't make any sense whatsoever. I don't care how rich you're supposed to be. That don't make no sense. And I was always saying, like, man, if that's the case, man, you just find another way to get the money. You know what I'm saying? It make no sense of asking you for the money and then when they could probably just get the money in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Probably a family member or something like that. But that was just a thing that I thought about. Like scams are more prevalent nowadays. Everybody can get scammed nowadays. It's nobody that's exempt from it because young people is getting it happening. Older people, 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever age you is, you can get caught. You can get got. Especially with the AI stuff nowadays, it's even getting even more crazy. I didn't hear about people calling people and saying, I had your family member and stuff like that. And, people giving them money that way and stuff like that. But I'm not even saying that I would ever take a threat from that my family member's being kidnapped. Not serious. But if you trying to kind of threaten me with that, knowing that I'm an average person, I'm less likely to believe you have my family member, even if you call from their number. I ain't gonna even hold you. I'm less likely to believe you have my family member, right? Because if you call and you be like, I need 50,000 or your family member's dead, well, I'm gonna get $50,000 from, bro. At the most, I could probably give you a couple of thousand. At the most, ain't much running. This ain't no fucking movie. I'm sorry, damn, I ain't mean to do that. This ain't no movie. So it ain't like the average person has $50,000. Yeah, the average person make around 80,000. So, and after taxes, that's about $50,000, and that's been spent on the families and stuff like that. So nobody got that type of money. So it wouldn't make sense for you to call me and say, "Oh, yeah, I got your family member. You don't give me 50,000, they gone." They gone either way it go, because I ain't got $50,000, and the police ain't gonna get it. This ain't no movie. This ain't a movie, dog. Oh, for real. So it's just like, I just want to say, watch out for scams out here, because they all around. They're all around. They're everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I want to do this thing with the scam that I went through. Or it's not exactly a scam, but it is a scam at the same time. And I want to discuss that. But like I said, I got to get the info. I also got to, get my editing game up because I really want to do it right for you guys. But I just want to say, big thing for y'all. Watch out for scams. And if you've ever been scammed, let me know. Appreciate y'all for checking me out. This boy Easy, most known and only yo. So stay warm out there, y'all, because Chicago cold.